Welcome everybody to the Magnificent 4 Cup Season 34. I'm your host Cray, and today we'll be having 4 of the strongest players tallying from the Singapore, Malaysia and Philippines region. And they will be battling it out to see who will be crowned as champion for this season's Mag 4 Cup itself, alright? So for the competition rules, it's gonna be pretty simple. It's just gonna be based on playoffs and a best of 5 with the SWC ruling as well. So there's gonna be the pre-ban phase at the start of the draft. It's gonna be pretty interesting to see what kind of strategies that the opponents will be running here, because I think the meta still is not really changing yet. Although there's the recent balance patch, right? So I think probably first pick still will be things like Jogan, Oliver, all these kind of strong units. And I want to see whether they are gonna be utilizing Win Paul, because on paper that unit is like a really good unit to have to counter things like Oliver, especially with all the pushback and stuff like that, right? With the resets. So here's the bracket for today. We have Jin Yao up against Charles, and Casual will be fighting Flynn later on as well. Although we are not sure, because I think Jin Yao is still on the way back, so we might be starting the second match first, alright? So the winner for today will be walking away with this season's Champions Trophy with their name engraved on it, a Volume 1 Alia SD figurine, and 500 crystals. The runner-up will receive 500 crystals, and the remaining 2 players will be getting 300 crystals each as well for the efforts made in this tournament. So with the likes of Jin Yao and Charles, we do know Charles loves to go for things like Gianna, all this kind of stuff. So it's gonna be quite interesting to see Jin Yao trying to counter those kind of lineups, right? Because I think Jin Yao is a very solid turn 2 player. Things like Patter, Akroma, you know, all this kind of turn 2 units which doesn't really care about Gianna skill set. Yeah, Akroma cannot get bomb as well. All these units are very good to have in your arsenal of lineup, right? So there is also gonna be 2 coupon codes to be provided later on during the stream. So make sure to just sit back and relax and enjoy the great matches that these 4 players will be entertaining us with. Okay, so without further ado, we should be able to be starting soon here. We'll see whether Jin Yao has arrived. Yeah, I think for so far Mag 4 Cups, Jin Yao is probably one of the players that won the most. I think at one point before Flynn actually joined this tournament, yeah, he was actually destroying it. Every season, one of the best, man. This guy, although his monster box in terms of LDs is not very wide, but then he loves to go for all the normal units, things like Juno, and able to work it out very well. So, yep, we are going to be having Casual up against Flynn first. Pre-bans locked in. It's the Song Zhanglao and the Gianna. So here we go. Casual will be getting first pick. And he's one of those players that probably goes for Sierra first, but if the Gianna is banned out, then Jogan makes sense. So playing through on Flynn's side, the Shiho and Fire Megumi. Casual will be opting for the Sierra and Yonhong. Oh, Sierra Yonhong, very scary combination. I believe now there's the new challenge arena. Whenever you have the Sierra and Yonhong to pick in your lineup, most of the time you win. So here we go. Flynn will be going for his Laura as well as the Oliver. Do we see Casual pivoting here into turn 2? I think it's gonna be quite hard because he's kind of committed towards the Jogan and the Yonhong already. However, Mei Ho Wang and Misty kinda makes sense here, you know? So even the Ragdoll here is good. Going for the Valantis as well. So very heavy LD draft once again from Casual. And what will Flynn do this time? He has locked in 2 of his speed leads already. The last pick, probably things like Tianlang. I think Tianlang is okay here to counter the Yonhong a little bit. So going for the Shizuka instead. Alright, locking it in. So on one hand, Casual only has one speed leader. If the Ciara is banned out, what do you do? Although there's a ragdoll in the field, so yeah, Flynn is just opting for the Jogan ban, and Casual does not want to deal with that Shizuka pick. Alright. First round of this best of 5. Shiho moves first. Outspeeding that Yonhong. So going for the big stun onto the Valantis. And now what Yonhong can do. I feel like you kinda need to strip off that Mei Hoang by going for the boost instead. It's a very interesting play. He wants to wake up his Valantis for the potential counter stuns from the passive. So now Yonhong will be able to go for the Blade Fan, but tons of buffs on the side of Flynn. And he gets the Wheel Strip. So Ciara getting stun up, and Ragdoll will be able to go for some normal attack poke damage here. Oliver didn't do anything right there. That is one of the worst outcomes whenever you're using Oliver. When you don't even get the reset and the pushback. So you can't really cycle much with the Oliver now. So getting bombed up as well. Oh, this is not looking good. Alter Ego attack once again from the Shiho. So big stun landed onto the Yonhong. Fire Mogimi getting another stun onto the Ciara. So slow debuff landed now. The controls is looking good for Flynn. If she gets a sleep proc of a violin, I think this one is in the bag. Oh my god. Yep, Casual knows it. He just left, and it's a 1-0 victory going to Flynn. Okay. Yeah, especially when Laura does that, one more turn for the third skill is somewhat like close to a 50% chance to get an additional turn, because the sleep proc on top of the violence set that all Laura has. I don't suggest anyone to rune a Laura on Swift, because Laura base speed is already super high, plus 120 if I'm not mistaken, right? So yeah, you can just benefit on violence set. Around 190 also is really fast with the speed lead. And most of the time you should be outspeeding those units which has Swift with a low base speed, you know? So yeah, I think Laura still one of the best units for turn 1. And we are going to be moving to the second round here. So last round's pre-ban, the Gianna and Song Zhang Lao. This time it's gonna be the Yonhong Laura. And Flynn first pick would be a Jogan. So taking the Jogan away, Ciara, Gianna probably gonna be locked in on casual side. But we'll see, because when there's no option for Yonhong, Gianna is quite hard to actually utilize. Not gonna lie, because of the slow base speed that she has, right? And then Flynn can always capitalize on that, going for things like Etna, Shiho, all these kind of things are good. And also, yep, we'll be having 2 coupon codes during the stream. So one will be after the 2 semi-final matches, and one will be after the final. Alright. So very heavy LD draft coming out from Flynn. 2 flashy speed leads in the form of Silver and Nephthys. Going for the Wounsa there as well. So I think what Flynn wants to do here is to probably just ban off the Chloe, because that is for sure a double Nemesis trap. So does not want to get caught in between. So will that Ragdoll actually help Casual to get the attack buff boost that he needs? We'll see about that. So gets the strip. Missing onto the Gianna though. So Gianna will be able to cut in between here. Placing the bomb onto the Jogan and going for the critical error. However, failing to strip the Silver. So there's gonna be the potential skills coming out from it. With the glancing intact onto the Oliver, he gets the reset. That is actually pretty unfortunate for Flynn. So he's gonna be lacking damage right here. And he kinda needs to kill off that Sierra first, you know? So getting the stun onto the Sierra, Gianna gets another additional turn to place the bomb. Onto the Song Zhang Lao. So gonna be some sort of pushback here from this unit. Oh, he's lacking damage, Flynn. I don't think he's able to bring anything down in time. Yeah, you get the proc, but to no avail. You're gonna be stunned up by that bomb. And it's looking bleak. So full reset onto the Nephthys. Song Zhang Lao goes down, and I think this one is pretty much GG. So 1-1. That is a very good play from Casual. Also, I feel like, yeah, that Oliver did probably most of the job there. Because if he didn't land the reset, and if he didn't violent proc because he was silenced up, right? Yeah, Nephthys one turn silence. One violent, it's all it takes for all these kind of units to get back on track, you know. Things like, that's why you don't really like to fight things like Valadrol. All these kind of units where one proc out of the silence, a full cleanse into the immunity, 3 turns, and then you can't really do anything to follow up after that. So yeah, it is what it is. I think in terms of Flynn's drafting there, it was on point. It's just he got a little bit unlucky. So this time, pre-bans back to the same as round 1. The Gianna and the Dark Monkey King. I think it's gonna be a contest for Jogans this time. So definitely we'll be seeing a Jogan pick. And what will Flynn do? So I think Flynn don't need to change anything here. Sticking towards the same draft, and this time Casual will be taking the Oliver instead of a Sierra. So opting for a higher base speed unit. I still feel like Flynn can just follow back towards round 1's drafting. And definitely a Tianlang here makes sense, you know. Tianlang to counter the Oliver and the Yonhong. So going for the Laura and another silver again. That unit, I feel like, doesn't really do too much apart from the slow debuff. He provides no damage output whatsoever. But it's a very good speed lead. So Casual will be going for this Okeanos. Alright. Okeanos really good right now. And fitting in a Chiwu too. So Chiwu for the first turn strip. In case the Jogan gets banned out. So about 10 seconds left for Flynn to choose his last unit. What will it be? Will he flex a Ragdoll for fun? I don't think so. So it's gonna be the Wunsa. So on one hand here, Flynn does have some decent amount of AoE damage dealers. He wants to outspeed Casual. If you want to do that, I think probably banning off the Yonhong here makes sense, right? Because you got 2 units that potentially outspeeds the Jogan and Chiru, but just playing it safe, removing the 33% speed leader. Because he knows his Shiho is going to outspeed the opponent's Yonhong. So, can he get a stun though? He stuns the Okeanos. So, there's gonna be the strip. I think you just go for the Blade Fan here, right? Oh, going for Charge Vitality. Praying for a Violent. Did not get it. So, just going for this skill. Oh, that Chiwu. The Chiwu is on a double Nemesis build. Very squishy unit. So getting a very big stun onto the Jogan, that is super important. And yeah, I think this one, the full controls will have been coming 2-1 victory to Flynn. Okay, so yeah, I think that didn't really work too well. I felt like maybe the Yonhong should have went for the Blade Fan instead of praying for a Violent proc on the Okeanos. You know, you go for the Blade Fan, you get attack boost for the team. Your Jogan will be moving. And then you can follow up with the Strip into the Chiwu's Glancing, and then you pray that they derp some skills. Yeah, and hopefully your Okeanos Violent out of that stun after that. Naturally, you know. So yeah, I don't know about that play. Maybe could have worked, could have not. So this will be the 4th round. Whoever wins this will be moving onwards to the finals to be fighting either Jin Yao or Charles. And Flynn is 1 step closer, reaching it. So pre-bans, okay. So we're seeing a Jogan ban, as well as a Laura. Here we go, Flynn, first pick. Oh my god. Okay, I know what he wants to do here. Karnal. And that's gonna be the Nyx. Yup. That is what he told me the other day. He wants to try this team out. This is basically El Mimo's draft. One of the top G3 player in RT as well. He was like, I think, experimenting things like Karnal, Ragdoll, Nyx. A lot of all this kind of passive that increases attack bar boost. So Casual is just gonna go for the Oberon and Yonhong. And now what will Flynn do? I think fitting in a Ragdoll here is kinda okay. Yeah, because all Oracles crits. You probably want to ban off the Oberon if you're gonna go for it though. So going for the Hey Gang, and last pick would be the Layla. Oh, Hey Gang here is very nice. Super strong counter towards Gianna and the Yonhong. So Casual, the last pick needs to go huge. I think some sort of big burst damage or maybe some sustain. So down to 1 second. Oh, he's thinking it through really hard. So going for the Shizuka instead. So opting for some sort of immunity user on the team, able to control with the 3rd skill. Because there's gonna be tons of bombs and stuns, right? Unless the Nyx mitigates that. So what do you actually ban here? Because you know, if you're a Gianna user, you are super afraid of that Hey Gang. And he's gonna go for the Karnal ban instead. Oh, I don't know about this one. I think Flynn might have this in the bag, you know, because with Nyx passive, although, you know, resistance check doesn't really matter, at the end of the day, it's 50-50 whether you land your skills or not. But yeah, this Layla no real though. We're going for the Blade Fan. Triple non-crit, everything resisting. And now you can't even go for the critical error. Oh, he's opting for it instead. I don't know whether that is the play though. Yeah, probably he just wanted to stun up the Layla. Provoke landed onto the Shizuka. So look at that. Now, full controls up and running for Flynn. Sierra missing another bomb. So, Lamiela is gonna go huge here. No violent proc from the Shizuka. Means that potentially this Lamiela is going to have that ill-important big burst damage. Potentially killing off 3 units here. Oh, look at that. Gets the additional turn. Everything's so low on health. And it's GG. So Flynn will be moving onwards to the finals of the Magnificent 4 Cup Season 34. So congratulations to him. He played really flawlessly there as well because, yeah, as a Nyx user, I think that is quite interesting to see that unit being utilized in RTA, especially nowadays with things like Colonel. You know, you go very beefy. You're also not that slow, because I think you're gonna be like around plus 170, 180 speed with their rune quality, right? So yeah, I think that drop is a really nice one to see. Would have been better if Colonel was not pre-banned though. I think, yeah, banning off that Heigang slightly makes sense. You can utilize your Gianna's critical error properly. But at the end of the day, if Nyx resists your third skill, then yeah, Gianna can't do anything as well. So yep, Flynn moving onwards to the finals of the Magnificent 4 Cup Season 34. Next up, we have Master Jin Yao and Charles. I think these two players are gonna have some good fun as well. So we are able to dive into that match real quick. It's gonna be another best of 5 for the semi-final matches. And after that, we are gonna be having the first coupon code of the night. Alright? So make sure to stay tuned. And here we go. So Tianlang and the Jogan ban. So Jinya removing Jogan means that he's probably gonna go for things like Vanessa +1. He's not really a fan to take Sierra and Oliver first pick, you know? So yeah, opting for the Shiho first instead. Giving the 2 speed lead options for Charles. So Fire Megumi and the Sierra. Yeah, Jinya is one of those players that utilizes the Vanessa very well. So, Charles. Does this work against Julian though? Veronica and the Dark Robo. Because if you're gonna go with this lineup, it's either you ban off the 33 leader or the Shiho. So now, Jin Yao is gonna go very aggressive here with the Atna pick as well. Fitting in a very expensive speed lead, the Pontos. So Zibala probably gonna get banned out here. And what do you do? 28% speed leader Veronica does not outspeed the Monkey and Atna. I think one of those has to go, right? Probably ban off Atna, you pray that the Shiho doesn't stun you up. Going for the ban onto the Julian instead. Well, that is rather interesting. So I think this one is Charles praying that he gets some violent. I feel like Jinya is gonna back this one real quick though. The Atna and the Shiho is gonna do so much work before he actually moves. So here, he needs to get some good stuns. So first hit already stunning up that Veronica. Now, this thing cut in between. Getting the stun onto the Atna. So this Vanessa gets the armor break onto the Dark Robo. No strip onto the Pontos. And Vanessa will be able to provide the revive onto the Atna as well. The Atna dies here, but it's gonna come back, and there's gonna be 2 turns invincibility buff. There's nothing he can do about it. So stealing the right buff there. Getting the very important stun onto the Veronica there. So Atna will be able to go for a potential shatter. And he's gonna die. Yeah, Nue probably kills off the Atna. But he's not gonna go for it. Yeah, using the Sierra to kill it off. Now Shiho needs a big stun with the normal attack. Once again getting it onto the Veronica. She's getting stunned up the whole time. Now silence will be applied. So although Jin Yao has 3 units only, the Shiho is moving next. And he's definitely able to kill off this Sierra with that armor break intact. Oh, not able to though. Is that going to backfire Jin Yao's win here? everything so on health, but then he's not finishing off anything yet. So Veronica will say goodbye here. Finally, she's gonna go down. So literally, she did nothing in this match. She got stunned up 3 times, silenced up 1 time, and then she died. Feels bad. Alright, so now this thing, no skill yet. Probably on despair. Pontos 1 more turn for the 3rd skill. And Sierra still surviving by the skin of her teeth, but probably just gonna be going down here. No additional turn from the Fire Megumi, not able to control the Shiho. So it's looking bleak for Charles right now. It's Fire Megumi against the wall. So Shiho will definitely be able to bring down this unit, and invincibility buff will be popped. I don't know about this, man. It's gonna be tough. Because now you need to deal with the Shiho's 3rd skill, and the revive is up on the Vanessa. So this one, Jin Yao taking it 1-0. I think Jin Yao's draft at the end there was super strong. Where he actually went for the Etna pick. So going for Etna right there, I think it's just too aggressive for Charles' draft. Because he committed to the Veronica and the Dark Robo at the 2nd phase. He didn't have anything that can contest for turn 1. So I think his game plan was probably he just wanted to remove the Shiho, right? And then when there's an Etna there, yeah, I mean, if he ban either one of the Shiho or Etna, they're still gonna get the turn. So yeah, opting for the ban onto the other unit. Which kind of makes sense, but then yeah, letting through Etna and the Shiho definitely hurts your whole draft, alright? So here we go. Round 2 of this best of 5 between Charles and Jin Yao. Julian and the Sierra band. Yeah, especially as a turn 1 user where you're gonna go with AoE attacks, right? I think leaving a Julian in the field is fine. Because he's able to bring down the HP of the other units very easily. You know, most of the time, Julians are like maximum plus 10k HP. They're gonna be quite squishy. So yeah, potentially able to do a little bit more damage towards the whole team. So Veladro first pick. And Jin Yao going for the Zeratul Vanessa. Zeratul is gonna be super strong against the Vela. Because now he doesn't really care. Every punch he hits, there's a chance to strip. So what the Gojo and Wet Jut? Okay. Let Charles cook here. Probably we'll see something like a Juno. I think Jin Yao loves his Juno, right? Juno is kinda okay. Tianlang as well. Because Water Gojo is going to be getting tons of attack bar increase. Together with the Wet Jut too. So Jin Yao very heavy LD this time. The Tianlang and the Viva Shell. That's a very interesting Riley. The Riley doesn't really synergize with his draft though. Apart from just providing heals, the attack buff, not really. And yeah, I think Bulwark here is super strong. It's gonna be a force ban material because there's tons of buffs coming out from the side of Charles. Things like the Vela, the Water Gojo, every turn he gets the defense buff. So Bulwark will get 1 stack. But he's gonna be changing it to the Angela instead. I don't really like that. I think Bulwark would have been slightly better. But Jin Yao's sustainability now is gonna be increased a little bit here with the Angela, you know? Angela, very good. Super tanky, and probably it's on revenge, alright? It does not have real runes. So with the Gojo here, damage output not that great. So Veladro going for the immunity, and this Riley will be able to heal up the team a little bit. Probably just gonna go for the normal attack. I feel like the Viva Shell and the Angela sustain is good enough, you know. And then he can just start working on to the Riley. There's gonna be the switch. So Riley is confirmed dead. Oh wait, she's able to survive this, right? Alright, here we go. So able to sustain the Viva Snipe potential. Tianlang getting stun up. And armor break applied onto the Panda. So here, I think love and peace. Yep, providing shield for everybody. And when they do damage, they're gonna be taking back some from the passive coming out from Angela. So Tianlang here, not able to apply the armor break that he needs. The Riley definitely on some sort of 100 rest. Alright, so with the Gojo, as time goes by, he's still not doing more damage. Oh man, probably you need Destroy Runes. Play like Siege. Destroy Runes on the Gojo. The Bellagio here has the Sanctuary up, just gonna give the attack bar for the team, but Tianlang I think benefited more. So no stun. This is gonna take a while. I think probably once it hits 50% HP up, I mean HP down and attack up, then we'll see something going down. But yeah, I think for the next couple of minutes, it's just gonna be poke damage here and there. Because the sustains coming up from the Riley and the Angela itself is sufficient for both sides. With the Gojo still not hitting that hard. Now, armor break is applied though. However, full cleanse onto the Vela. So we need to wait 40-50%, then I think something dies. And if you're Charles as well, you still gotta deal against that Vanessa's revive. It's quite tough. So double stuns, 50% stun rate, fair enough. Bellagio here needs to land the armor break, did not get it. Unlucky. His armor broken instead right now. So there's no plans, I believe, on Charles' side for now. Probably window of opportunity for Jin Yao to kill off something. I think here you just go for the switch, right? Onto the Vela. Since his armor broken. And then your Tianlang, one violent. Oh, he did not get it. He needed that violent proc there. The Bellagio still surviving by the skin of his teeth. Tianlang will be moving soon though. Can he stun? I think this drops the Vela. Alright. So 40%. Okay, we brought down something earlier than expected. And now the full heal for Viva Shell. Yeah, I didn't really like this Riley pick. Didn't do anything whatsoever. Doesn't really synergize with your draft. Yeah, basically max buffs for the Gojo, and the damage at 40% is still not even 20% of the opponent's health. That's pretty much GG. You know it. Full shield up. He's just buying time to think of his next draft at this point. Tianlang here, I think just normal attack. Gets the additional turn, second skill to do some good damage. Probably. Okay, nope. Yeah, 2-0 to Jin Yao. Yeah, it was bound to happen, you know. I think once the Bellagio went down, there's no way to make a comeback because you lose your only armor breaker on the team. And there's gonna be the Angela moving every single time as well to cleanse. So yeah, pretty sad draft right there. I think he needed to go a little bit more aggressive, like a bruiser kind of unit. if he has things like Ming, I think Ming would have been really good in that last slot, you know. So here we go. Last round's pre-bans were the Julian and Sierra. Is it going to be a 3-0 clean sweep for Jinyao, or do we see a reverse comeback from Charles? So I think Charles is thinking, what should I ban here, man? There's so many things to pre-ban. Zeratu, Julian, Tianlang. Opting for the Shiho instead. Okay. So Jinyao will be removing this Jogan as well. First pick, Jinyao. Does he open up with an Atna or Fire Megumi? Because he's not one to go for Sierra or Oliver, right? So opening up with the Vanessa. Okay. And then he has a lot of options here. Tianlang, Zeratu. Yeah, Zeratu is very nice against the Sierra. Permanent immunity. So Charles is sticking to his Veronica and the Dark Robo right here. Etna and a potential speed lead, probably. I think Pontos here is gonna be good, you know? Yeah, Pontos Etna. However, you kinda need to ban the Veronica, I think. So we'll see about that. What is last pick gonna be for Charles? It's gonna be the Shan. So he knows that he's gonna be outspeeding the opponent's side right now. He's gonna be banning off the Etna. And he's gonna be praying that he lands the strip onto the Pontos, alright? Because he really needs to control that unit. If Pontos resists everything, especially this strip coming out from the Dark Robo, is pretty much game over once that third skill is applied. So Vanessa actually moving first, okay. Eagle did not get the stun. Dragon Dance. And Zeratu is gonna punch this thing off the grid of the earth. Oh my god. Oh, the Dark Robo just went down like that. And I think the game is over. Yeah, you can never deal against the Zeratu now. Free and easy. Yeah, you get the speed buff, but to no avail. You can't do any damage. And it's 3-0. So yep, Jinyao will be progressing onwards to the finals. And he will be facing Flynn. I think that was a very good showcase on how to draft right there. Especially playing your LDs. I think the Pontos was a very nice pick at the end. Etna is a force ban material, right? So yeah, we'll be seeing those two players fighting it out in the finals. So I think we'll be able to provide the first code of the day real soon. And yeah, I think overall Jinyao played flawlessly in terms of drafting. No mistakes, right? Now that I think about it, I think, yeah, in terms of drafting, nothing that he did wrong. So here is the bracket. Jinyao 3-0 clean sweep against Charles. Casual losing to Flynn 3-1. And we're gonna be having the first code of the day. Alright. So make sure to type this in real quick. It is CS34 power. Okay, you'll be able to get 100 energy and 1 mystical scroll. Make sure to collect this one as soon as possible as well, because there's gonna be limited redemptions on it. Okay, so once again, CS34 power. You'll be able to get 100 energies and 1 mystical scroll. You never know, 1 MS, 1 Nat 5 that you desire. Also, I think personally I would prefer you guys to save some scrolls, because I think definitely in the next couple of matches we'll be able to see potential new units or things like that, right? So we're gonna be having a 10-minute break right here. Don't go anywhere. we are back for the latter half of the Magnificent Four Cup Season 34. So we do have our finalists locked in here. Jinyao will be up against Flynn, and it's gonna be a juicy one. So I think Jinyao now needs to be accustomed towards that Carnal pocket pick draft. I think so far we've been seeing the Carnal Nicks doing quite well in general RTA. In a way, banking on a lot of resistance, things like that, and then you're able to dish out a lot of damage output because that Carnal packs a punch, because his skill based on HP is gonna be providing HP leader as well. So yeah, very, very solid comp, and we'll see whether Jinyao has any answers towards that kind of draft, because for Jinyao, whenever Flynn goes for those kind of turn 1 kind of things with the Laura and the Light Twin Angel, you know, all this kind of turn 1 units, Jinyao always has answers against it because he has things like Patter, Acroma, like I mentioned before. So we'll see whether Flynn will adjust towards Jinyao's monster pool, alright? So once the players are ready, we are able to start the final match of this Magnificent Four Cup Season 34. The winner will be walking away with this season's Champions Trophy with their name engraved on it, a Volume 1 Alia SD figurine as well, and 500 crystals. The runner-up will be getting 500 crystals, and the other two remaining players, Charles and Casual, will be getting 300 crystals each for the efforts made in this tournament. So here we go. We are able to be heading into the first match of the best of 5 real quick, and it's gonna be a good one. So both sides thinking it through. What will the pre-bans be? So it's gonna be locked in. The Pontos and the Dark Monkey King. So Song Zhang Lao. Highly banned by a lot of players because I think nowadays that unit is just too strong. The third skill, OP. So Flynn will be opening up with the Jogan, and Jinyao will take away the Shiho. Yeah, Shiho is always a very good pick over here. Turn 1, you can just stun off the Jogan if needed. So going for the Vanessa as well. So Sierra and probably Laura will be fitted in later on. Going for the Josephine first though, because there's gonna be potential stuns from that Water Monkey King, Patter locked in, as well as the Zerato. Oh, Jinyao's draft looking good. So if you're Flynn now, what do you ban? Highly likely Patter, right? And he's still got the opportunity to go Acroma at the end. So Flynn, will he commit to turn 1? He does. So going for the Laura. 1 second left. Oliver right at the end. I think, yeah, Acroma makes sense here. Maybe a Juno. Juno, Geo. Quite a lot of things that you can fit in at the end. Yeah, Fire Cassandra also really good. Because Fire Cassandra counters the Laura's third skill. When she does damage, that thing is definitely on double Nemesis will. So yeah, you got no choice but to remove that unit. Both sides has equal speed leads. And I feel this Shiho is going to move first though. Swift against Bio, Laura. No way. No way you outspeed. So there's gonna be a chance for a potential strip stun. Did not stun the Sierra. So that is bad news for Jinyao. Now strip onto everybody. Patter will cut in between. And this Josephine needs to get the strip onto the Zeratu later on. Yeah, this Oliver gets the additional turn at the wrong timing. So Sierra as well. Provoke landed. Now you need to kill off that Zeratu twice. However, if a violent proc happens here... Okay, did not. So, yeah, just gonna be normal attacking the Zeratul there. Can he get some stuns? Does he want to give the shield? Nope. So opting for the normal attack instead. Sierra will go down towards the wild blow. That is big damage from that patter. So full reset will be onto the Zeratul. However, he did not get the pushback though, so that is pretty unfortunate. But the immunity is wearing off on the side of Jin Yao. He needs some big stuns. Oh, going for the normal attack first. Playing it safe. So triple stun from that monkey. And now Josephine could not control that Shiho. So another round of alter ego attack. And now Josephine is controlled up. And it's not looking good because Zeratul will be moving. Gonna be a few punches here to bring down the Josephine. Laura and Oliver against the wall though. Yeah, I think here you kinda need to reset the patter, but ooh, that despair stun from Vanessa. Yeah, I think this one is definitely in the bag. Zeratul is gonna heal up, and there's nothing Flynn can do about it. So 1-0 victory goes to Jin Yao. I think that one, yeah, the drafting was quite tough. Flynn needed to kinda commit to turn 1 right there. And yeah, the patter just spoiled the party. One patter, so good, guys. Look at that. The patter made it so that on turn 1, he didn't get resetted and also bombed up by that Sierra. It's just too strong, man. Every time you try to place a debuff, he gains the attack bar to cut in between. So what will you do this time? Pre-ban onto the patter. Okay, that's what I like. I think that should have been the pre-ban on the first round. So Flynn probably looking at another turn 1 kind of comp here. With Jogan removed, Jin Yao is still going for the Shiho. Yeah, I think Flynn will be a lot more confident this time going for turn 1. Because Tianlang doesn't really cut against the Laura. Yeah, the patter is built really well, by the way, guys. Do you see that wall blow damage? And it's not like he has no HP, you know? It's also very tanky on HP. High HP with very good damage output. So we are able to see the Dark Monkey King in the field right now, and Jin Yao will be going for the for that duo, the Atna Shiho combination, fitting in the Pontos right at the end. So Jin Yao needs to pray that his Pontos works this time. Resisting everything means he wins. So Flynn last pick here needs to go with some sort of attack bar booster. Try to get turn 1. To fight that Shiho and Atna. It's gonna be tough though. So falling back towards the Praha. Yeah, I guess no matter what you pick at the end there, if you go Wunsa, probably ban off as well. So you kinda need to either remove one of those speedy units, I think. Or do you just remove Pontos? That could be a play as well. Okay, playing it safe. Going for the Atna and Laura ban. So here, speed leader more probably on despair. Nah, more. Ain't no way more gets to outspeed the Shiho, right? So Jin Yao will get first turn. What can he stun? That more does not have will. Very interesting. So I think Jin Yao was just playing it safe just in case, you know, that unit is on some sort of double nemesis. Triple nemesis, you never know. unorthodox build. So failing to get the strip onto the most important unit. And Jinyao will be able to just punch this Praha. Will be able to heal up, but there's gonna be the full cleanse. Yeah, this Pontos has been working super well throughout the series. He has been resisting 100% of strips from the first match against Charles up until now. So I think this Dark Monkey King is definitely in trouble here. No armor break, still able to do so much damage. And silence applied onto everybody as well. It's not looking good for Flynn this time. I think Jinyao, once this Dark Monkey King goes down, it's pretty much game over. So now you have the third skill, but you can't really do anything with it. Yeah, because immunity is still all around. Yeah, you can stun up that Zeratul, but you can't even do damage. So Alter Ego attack probably onto the Praha, trying to control that unit. And the Song Zhanglao will go down. The armor break applied onto the Mort. No additional turn from the Oliver means pretty much Zeratul has the buff, right? Yep. The immunity is back on track and GG. 2-0 to Jinyao. Wow. Pontos though. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's certain units, right? Like in the game where although everything is not 100% resistance, there's a few units that I feel like has higher resistance than usual. You know, whenever I believe you guys have noticed this. If you're fighting against things like Light Pony, okay, Light Pony is one of those units. Pontos, you know, you have 100% accuracy. 15% of the time they resist, but I feel it's like 80. It's like always very hard to land the strip onto those two units specifically. So yeah, Pontos will be pre-banned here as well as the Song Zhanglao. But that's just me. I feel like, yeah, at the end of the day, it's just 50-50, right? So Laura, first pick from Flynn. Okay. Can Jinyao capitalize on this though? Yeah, like I said guys, once the coupon code is out, make sure to type it in as soon as possible. Claim it as fast as possible because there's limited redemptions on it, alright? So apologize if the first code already finished. So Jinyao here will be going for the Shiho and the Vanessa. What will Flynn do? Do you take away the Atna here? Honestly, Atna is quite good against the Shiho, right? Yeah, because you do not want to give Jinyao the option for it. So going for the Lamiela instead. Yeah, you ban Pater, then the Zeratul. Oh, those two units so scary. And now what will you do if you're Flynn if Pater and Heigang is picked up? Although I think Jinyao wouldn't go for a Heigang yet, so opting for the Zeratul first. And Flynn will take away the Heigang. Alright, because he knows Jinyao could potentially run that unit at the end. Oh, Win Gojo! Okay! That is what I like to see, alright? So Flynn is testing out something new here. Win Gojo from the last balance patch, I think it's really strong because tons of provoke. You got defense buff, which scales with your skill to do more damage. And Jinyao will be going for the Lucia right at the end. So Lucia will counter the Oliver really hard. And I think at this point, yeah, you kind of need to ban off that unit because you're gonna be lacking with win units only. So this one, I think, in terms of drafting, on paper, Jinyao probably won it in terms of drafting, but we'll see. So Shiho will move first. Can he stun? Oh, actually no. He does not really want... He can probably stun the Wind Gojo, right? So he wants to make the Oliver move first here. Because there's the Heigang in the field. Now Laura will be able to go for the Light Guardian Angel. Not able to strip 2 units. Oh, that is pretty unfortunate. And now, because of the turn order screwed up. Oh, that's not good. Zeratu, however, will be able to go for some good damage. So now Flynn needs to wait patiently, hope that his Heigang gets the turn. The Heigang needs to go for the big strip. And Oliver now gets the additional turn on that Zeratu. Oliver goes down. So, nothing much that Wind Gojo can do yet. Getting the stun onto the Shiho. Triple stun right here. This is the comeback coming out from Wind Gojo. Alright, another big stun. Now Laura. No additional turn yet. And Limitless. The provoke is up. Look at that damage coming out from that unit. Another big stun onto the Shiho. So Laura will be able to provide the defense buff. Yeah, Laura also synergizes very well with that unit. So Revive is exhausted from the Vanessa. Do you just opt for potential Despair here? Did not get it onto anyone. Zeratu will be able to apply the immunity and able to go for some big punches. Oh, not able to get the crit. So gonna bring down that Shiho. Oh, the Zeratu is looking quite scary. Can he kill? Not yet. No skills for the Wind Gojo too. So Laura needs a proc. Did not get it. Heigang here. Just trying to push back. Oh, I think this one... Jin Yao has it, right? I don't see a way for that Zeratu to die now. You know? With all these additional turns, the Laura already half-life. So Laura needs to stun. Did not get it. Push back. Oh, he got it. Oh, what a comeback. Man, that was a very close match. Honestly, I felt like that Zeratu had it in the bag, you know, with the additional turn to like do 50% of the health onto the Laura. But Laura had other answers towards that. Getting the third skill up into the Violent proc. Although didn't stun with the second skill, but that Heigang secured it. So yeah, good stuff. I was expecting a 3-0 when that Wind Gojo went down. Good clutch right there. Hey, we're able to see 4 matches. No complaints. Alright. So, is it a sign of a reverse sweep coming up for Flynn? Or can Jin Yao close it right now? So Zeratu, respect ban right there, as well as the Jogen. So I think Jin Yao is always going to open up with the Vanessa here. Oh, going for the Shiho instead. Alright. Yeah, the Vanessa is very well ruined, by the way, guys. Earlier, we saw it outspeeding some sort of very high base speed unit, right? And also, it's on Despair. Because I've seen it normal attacking, getting a stun. So yeah, what will Jin Yao do here? Do you just go for the Patter again? Okay, back to the standard drafting from Jin Yao. His Vanessa Juno. Things that he loves back in the day. Until he got things like Patter. After Patter, he never used Juno anymore. Oh, very interesting. We are seeing a throwback to the early year of 2025. That Fire Twin Angel was a very hot pick kinda died down after midway through of the year, I believe. This season we didn't really see that much of it. And Jinya will be going for the Layla and the Petter right at the end. Abilio is good. Yeah, I like that Abilio pick a lot. So yeah, in terms of prevents here, you want to remove the Layla. That's the main reason why you want the Abilio in the field. So speed leader equal on both sides. Let's go. Round 4. Can Jinya close this one right now? It's gonna be close. I think the draft is pretty even here. 50-50. Shiho gets turn 1. No stun onto the Fire Twin Angel though. Oh, that is good news for Flynn. So he's able to do this. It's fine. Petter with the immunity. The Twin Angel will be able to provide that as well later on. Do you want to use it right now? Because there's gonna be Juno to strip. So it's banking on Juno failing to strip here. Or do you just go greedy with a normal attack? Could work as well. So I think no choice here. Abilio kinda wants to heal up. You're taking a lot of damage now. Shiho stunning the Abilio though. So this Oliver is kinda desperate, going for the second skill, trying to do as much damage as he can onto the Fire Monkey, bringing it down. The Wild Blow. Ooh. That is so much damage right there. So now this Fire Twin goes down though. So Mega Impulse Gun definitely for sure onto the Shiho. Still alive. Abilio will be moving next. And he has to clap that. Okay. Able to transform back into this form. But Laura is already below 30% health, right? Oh wait, she's above. So there's gonna be no heals just yet. He needs a Violin. Did not get it. Gets the pushback onto the Petter. Laura still surviving. Yeah, I don't think Laura sustains that. And it's not looking good for Flynn this time. Yeah, the Petter so tanky. Look at that. 7k only around like, what, 15% of the health gone? And now Shiho is even back in the field. And he's gonna be moving next. So another big stun onto the Oliver. 4v2. Yeah, you can heal up, but what else can you do? You give the Juno heal 10% and it's gonna be GG. Jinya will be taking this a 3-1 victory against Flynn. Congratulations to him. I think both sides played really well, but in terms of drafting, like I said, Jinya is just a master of picking units. We never see him like making a very bad pick, honestly, in terms of casting him for the past few years or so. I've been watching how he play every single tournament. Very solid every single time. So yeah, Jinya will be getting this win here. The Magnificent 4 Cup Season 34 champion against Flynn. So Jinya will be walking away with the Champions Trophy with his name engraved on it. The Volume 1 Elia SD figurine as well as 500 crystals. Flynn will be taking 500 crystals to his name as well. So yeah, that's gonna be the end of this one, everybody. But before we close things up for today, there's gonna be a coupon code, one more to be given out. Alright, so make sure, like I said, collect this one as soon as possible because there's limited redemptions on it. It is Mag 4 Cup S34 Champ. Okay, once again, Mag 4 Cup S34 Champ. You'll be able to receive 100,000 Mana Stones and 1 Mystical Scroll. Alright, make sure to collect this one ASAP. Quick. go and take this. All right, free stuff is good stuff. So yeah, that's gonna conclude the end of the Magnificent 4 Cup Season 34. Once again, congratulations to our winner, Jin Yao. And I hope you summoners have a great week ahead, alright? So I think there's gonna be the America's Cup coming up real soon, as well as the APEC Cup. Make sure to watch all those. There's gonna be coupon codes there too, okay? So yeah, take care everybody, and hope to see you in the next one. Peace out, bye-bye.